The blistering sun beats down on the endless desert. The air shimmers with heat waves. A dusty road stretches for miles, the horizon a blur of light and shadow. A red SUV kicks up dirt as it speeds down the empty road. Inside, a woman, Karen, grips the steering wheel, her face a mask of cold determination. Her eyes glance at the rearview mirror, no one in sight. She presses the gas pedal harder, the engine roaring louder. Cut to a young woman, Sophia, lying on the ground under the unforgiving sun. Sweat glistens on her pale face, her eyes barely open. Her breathing is shallow. Her wheelchair lies abandoned in the sand beside her. Sophia weakly lifts her hand towards the fading shadow of the SUV in the distance, her voice barely a whisper. "Sophia, Mom, please," but the SUV doesn't slow down. Cut to Karen pulls the car to a stop, the tires screeching on the hot sand. She takes one last glance in the mirror, her eyes steely, calculating. She opens the door, stepping out, the wind picking up the dust. With every step she takes, the silence of the desert grows louder. She stands over Sophia, looking down at her with a detached expression. "Karen, you were never meant to be part of my life, you were always a burden." Sophia's eyes flicker, desperation fighting against exhaustion. "Sophia, please, don't leave me. I'm your daughter." Karen pauses, her gaze unwavering. For a moment, there is silence, just the hum of the wind. "Karen, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore." Without another word, she turns and walks back to the SUV, leaving Sophia lying helpless in the sand. The car door slams shut. The engine roars to life. Karen drives off, the dust cloud swallowing her car, leaving nothing but the stillness of the desert. The sun dips low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the backyard of a modest suburban home. The air is warm, yet the breeze is soft, a stark contrast to the harsh desert heat. In the distance, the faint hum of crickets can be heard. A peaceful evening. In the center of the yard, Sophia, her legs twisted by the weight of her disability, laughs joyfully as her mother, Elena, pushes her wheelchair gently back and forth. The sound of their laughter fills the air, light and carefree. "Sophia, higher, Mom. Higher." Elena chuckles, her face glowing with warmth. She leans forward, hands gripping the sides of the chair, lifting Sophia just a bit higher. The young girl's eyes sparkle as she looks up at her mother, the love between them more profound than words could express. "Elena, is this high enough?" "Sophia, maybe a little more." Elena pushes again, this time letting her own laughter spill into the evening. It's a moment of pure joy, a snapshot of what their life had always been, simple, but full of love. Despite the challenges, despite the limitations that Sophia faced every day, these moments made everything else fade away. In Elena's eyes, her daughter was perfect, a miracle of resilience and beauty. As Sophia giggles, Elena steps back, catching her breath for a moment. She kneels down in front of her daughter, cupping Sophia's face gently in her hands. There's a moment of silence, a soft stillness that makes the world seem distant. "Elena, I want you to know something, my love." Sophia looks at her mother, her smile softening, sensing the sincerity in her voice. Elena's eyes are full of emotion, a love so deep, it transcends the spoken word. "Elena, you're the light of my life. You're my everything. No matter what happens, no matter where we go, I'll always be here for you. You are never, ever a burden." Sophia gazes at her mother, her small hand reaching out to touch Elena's cheek. "Sophia, I love you, Mom." Elena smiles through her own teary eyes, brushing the hair out of her daughter's face. For a moment, time stands still. The world feels perfect. Later that evening, the two of them sit side by side on the porch swing, watching the stars slowly fill the darkening sky. Sophia leans against Elena, feeling the steady heartbeat of the woman who had always been her protector, her everything. "Sophia, do do you think one day I'll be able to walk like everyone else? Elena looks at her daughter, her expression full of hope but tinged with the knowledge of what her daughter faces. She squeezes Sophia's hand. Elena, I know you will, sweetheart. One day, you'll walk, and you'll run, and you'll chase your dreams like no one's ever seen before. But deep inside, Elena knows that the road ahead is harder than she's letting on. Still, she will fight for her daughter, for every step, every chance, every opportunity. As they sit in silence, the only sound is the gentle creaking of the swing, their hearts beating in unison. The future is uncertain, but tonight, they have each other. The warm scene fades away, and we're brought back to the harsh desert, where Sophia is now fighting for her life. The contrast is stark, the world that once was now a distant memory. It's late afternoon when Karen pulls into the driveway of the Martinez family home, her black SUV gleaming under the setting sun. The tires crunch on the gravel, almost too loudly, as if announcing her arrival. Sophia is in the yard, sitting in her wheelchair, her mother Elena beside her. The warm breeze rustles the leaves in the trees, but there's tension in the air. They both know Karen is coming. Karen steps out of her car with deliberate slowness, adjusting her sunglasses with the same precision she does everything else. Her heels click sharply against the pavement as she walks toward them, exuding an air of superiority that makes her presence feel suffocating. Karen, well, if it isn't the Martinez family. How are we doing today? Elena forces a smile, standing up to greet her, but there's a flicker of discomfort in her eyes. She's used to Karen's coldness, but it doesn't make it any easier to tolerate. Elena, we're good, Karen, just enjoying the weather. Sophia looks up at Karen, her eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and unease. Karen doesn't spare her a glance, though. Her focus remains solely on Elena. Karen, I see you're still out here, Sophia. How's that chair treating you? Must be a struggle, huh? Her words are sweet, but there's a sharpness beneath them, a veiled insult masked as concern. Sophia shifts uncomfortably in her chair, glancing at her mother. Elena, she's doing fine, Karen. She's strong, you know that. Karen, of course. But I do wonder, sometimes, if it might be easier for everyone if you just, her voice trails off, but the implication is clear, made some adjustments. Maybe move to a place more suitable for your situation. There's a slight pause. The suggestion hangs in the air, heavy and judgmental. Elena's smile falters, but she keeps it in place, a polite mask over her growing irritation. Elena, we're fine here, Karen. Thank you. But Karen doesn't stop. She steps closer, her heels clicking again as she kneels down to Sophia's level. Her eyes shine with a mixture of mock sympathy and cold calculation. Karen, you know, honey, the world can be so much easier when you just fit in. I'm sure your mother is doing the best she can, but there are ways to make life smoother. For all of us. Sophia looks away, not wanting to engage with the venom behind Karen's kind words. Karen, well, I just wanted to stop by and see how you're both doing. The HOA meeting is tomorrow, and we're making some changes. You'll want to keep an eye on those, Elena. She stands up, her tone sharp again, rules are rules, after all. As Karen turns to leave, her eyes lock with Elena's for just a second, a silent challenge between them. The unspoken tension is palpable. Elena, we'll see about that. The dining room is softly lit, with the faint hum of a fan moving the hot air around. The table is set neatly, just as Elena always does, even though her nerves are on edge tonight. The scent of roasted chicken and vegetables fills the room, but the atmosphere is anything but warm. Karen sits at the head of the table, her posture straight, a faint smile on her lips. Across from her, Elena shifts uncomfortably in her seat, trying to maintain a polite demeanor. Sophia sits next to her mother, her wheelchair positioned just beside the table. Despite the outward calm, the tension in the room is palpable, almost suffocating. Every glance between Karen and Elena feels like a silent battle. Karen, casually, cutting into her food, "It's nice to see you finally took my advice, Elena. The house does look a bit better after those changes. I'm sure the neighbors will appreciate it." Elena's fork pauses mid-air. Her jaw tightens. She knows exactly what Karen is implying, but she forces a smile, unwilling to let her frustration show. "Elena, we're making it work. But, we're not really concerned with what the neighbors think. We're just trying to live our lives." Karen's smile widens, a subtle but calculating glint in her eye. "Karen, of course, of course. But the thing is, living your life isn't always enough. You have to adapt, especially when you have a responsibility. Like a daughter." Elena's eyes snap toward Karen, her grip tightening on her glass of water. Sophia shifts in her chair, sensing the tension but unsure of what to do. Karen continues, unbothered, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Karen, it's just hard to ignore the reality. Sophia's condition, well, it's not exactly an easy burden to carry. And I can't help but wonder if it might be easier on everyone if you moved to a more accommodating place." The words hang in the air, heavy and accusing. Elena takes a sharp breath, her patience wearing thin. "Elena, we're fine here, Karen. Sophia is fine. She's my daughter, and I'll take care of her, no matter what anyone else thinks." Karen raises an eyebrow, her lips curling into a faint smirk. "Karen, I'm just saying, you could be living a much better life if you didn't let, certain things hold you back. It's just not easy, Elena's voice grows firmer, the last remnants of her calm slipping away. "Elena, we don't need your advice, Karen. We've made our choices, and Sophia is not a burden. She's a blessing." There's a silence now, thick and heavy, as both women lock eyes. Karen doesn't flinch. Instead, she continues to eat, as if the confrontation is nothing more than a passing moment. But Elena can feel the weight of every word. The constant manipulation, the hidden jabs, Karen has been undermining them for months now, and tonight, Elena feels as if the last shred of her patience is about to snap. "Sophia, Mom, please. Let's just eat." Elena glances down at her daughter, her heart aching for the girl who has endured so much. She forces a smile for Sophia, but her gaze never wavers from Karen's cold stare. "Elena, you're right, honey. Let's eat." Karen lets out a small, almost satisfied chuckle, the sound grating in the otherwise quiet room. "Karen, I'm glad we can all agree on something." The conversation falls into a strained silence. Each bite of food seems to take longer than the last, the tension building with every passing second. Elena tries to stay composed, but she can feel her anger rising with each word Karen speaks. She doesn't know how much longer she can pretend to be civil. And as the meal drags on, a thought begins to form in Elena's mind: Karen has pushed them to the edge. But maybe, just maybe, Elena is ready to push back. The sun blazes unforgivingly overhead, casting a harsh, unrelenting heat over the barren desert landscape. The silence is suffocating, broken only by the occasional hiss of the wind pushing sand across the earth. The world feels empty here, vast and endless, stretching beyond sight in every direction. Elena grips the steering wheel, her knuckles white. Sophia sits beside her, her wheelchair awkwardly wedged in the back seat. The wheels squeak as the car bumps along the rough desert road, kicking up dust with each turn. Karen is in the passenger seat, her demeanor calm, too calm for what's to come. She's holding a map in her lap, glancing at it every so often, but her mind seems elsewhere, her eyes gleaming with a sense of purpose that's impossible to ignore. "Karen, just a little farther. Trust me, Elena, you're going to love it out here. It's peaceful. Nothing but open space to think." Elena forces a smile, but her unease only grows with each passing mile. She knows there's something off about the way Karen speaks, the way she's acting. It's like the whole trip has been set up, manipulated into something far darker than what was promised. The thoughts nag at her, but she pushes them aside, telling herself she's just being paranoid. Sophia is too quiet, staring out the window, her face pale, as though she senses something wrong, too. Sophia, Mom. I don't like this. It's too hot out here. Elena glances over at her daughter, her heart aching. She gently pats Sophia's hand, trying to comfort her. Elena, we're almost there, sweetheart. Just a little bit longer, okay? But the tension between them is palpable, thickening with each mile. Finally, the car comes to a stop. The engine purrs to silence, and the abrupt stillness of the desert fills the air. The only sound is the wind whipping through the dry sand. Elena blinks into the sun, trying to adjust her vision to the vast emptiness ahead. This place, this barren land, feels wrong. Too quiet. Too empty. Karen, we're here. Elena doesn't respond. Her stomach churns, and she feels a cold shiver run down her spine. Elena, what is this place, Karen? Karen doesn't answer right away. Instead, she looks out the window, her eyes scanning the horizon as if calculating her next move. She takes a deep breath, and when she finally speaks, her tone is chillingly flat. Karen, it's a place for reflection. I thought it would be good for Sophia to be out here in nature. No distractions. Just the two of you. And me, of course. Elena's stomach tightens as she glances over at Sophia, who is now fidgeting in her seat, her discomfort palpable. The air feels thick, heavy with unspoken words. Elena, Karen, what's going on? Why are we here? Before Karen can answer, Elena hears the distinct sound of the door opening. She turns, only to see Karen stepping out of the car, her heels clicking against the dusty earth. Karen, looking back, voice colder now, come on, Elena. Sophia needs to see what real freedom looks like. Just a little walk. A few steps. It'll do her good. Confusion clouds Elena's mind, but she opens the door and steps out, helping Sophia out of the car. The heat hits them both like a wall. Sophia winces, her face already red from the heat. A few moments later, Karen leads them further into the desert, walking ahead, as if guiding them towards something. Elena follows, every step heavier than the last, her mind racing with the growing suspicion that something is terribly wrong. Without warning, Karen stops and turns to face Elena and Sophia, her eyes dark with intent. Karen, this is where it ends, Elena. You never understood. You never saw the truth. Sophia, she's just a burden. You've held on to this fantasy that she'll get better, but you're fooling yourself. Elena takes a step back, her heart racing, the words crashing into her like a tidal wave. Elena, what are you talking about, Karen? But before she can react, Karen takes another step forward, her eyes narrowing. Karen, it's over. It's always been over. I've had enough of watching you drag us both down with her. She doesn't belong here. You both don't. It's time to let go. In a single, calculated move, Karen steps back and gets into the car, slamming the door with a finality that sends a shock through Elena. Elena, what are you? No. Karen. The engine roars to life. Elena stares in disbelief as the car moves forward, kicking up dust and leaving her and Sophia standing in the desert, alone. The wheels dig into the sand, and for a moment, everything seems to freeze in time. Sophia, Mom, please, she's leaving us. I'm scared. Elena kneels in the sand, panic rising in her chest, but there's no time to waste. She must act, must do whatever it takes to get them both out of this nightmare. The desert is unrelenting. The sun beats down from an endless blue sky, making the dry earth shimmer and shift. The heat is suffocating, a constant weight pressing on Elena's chest. She stands frozen for a moment, the reality of her situation crashing into her mind. Her car is far out of sight, the dust swirling in its wake, Karen's betrayal still lingering in the air like a suffocating fog. She looks down at Sophia, who is still in her wheelchair, her face pale and drenched with sweat. Her fragile body is slumped forward, her hands gripping the armrests as if they might be the only thing holding her in place. Elena's heart pounds in her chest. Sophia looks up at her with wide, fearful eyes. "Sophia, Mom. I'm so tired," Elena's throat tightens. The words sting with the truth, Sophia is fading. Elena knows they can't stay here. Not like this. Not without help. "Elena, we'll be okay, sweetheart. I'm here. I'm not leaving you." But even as she says it, Elena knows the odds are stacked against them. The desert offers no mercy. The horizon looks endless, a sprawling ocean of sand, with no signs of life for miles. They're alone, stranded. And in the heat, every minute feels like an eternity. With a burst of resolve, Elena moves to Sophia's side, kneeling beside her. She looks around, searching for something, anything, that might help them survive this hellish ordeal. But all she sees is dry earth, scrub brush, and nothing else. Her breath comes in shallow gasps as she presses her hand against Sophia's forehead. "It's hot. Too hot. Elena, I need to get her out of this sun. There has to be shade somewhere." She looks at Sophia, and then back at the vast desert stretching ahead. She can feel the weight of the moment bearing down on her, the crushing responsibility to keep her daughter alive. Every second counts. Sophia's breath is shallow now, more labored than before. She seems barely conscious, her eyelids fluttering as she struggles to keep her eyes open. "Sophia, Mom. I'm scared," Elena's heart aches. She leans down, her face close to Sophia's, holding her hand tightly. "Elena, don't be scared, baby. I'm right here. I won't let anything happen to you." But the fear rises within her. Karen had left them out here to die. Elena knew it the moment Karen drove off. She tries to push the thought away. They're not going to die here. Not today. Elena won't let it happen. In a surge of adrenaline, Elena pushes Sophia's wheelchair forward, moving toward the distant shadow of a rock formation she spotted earlier on the horizon. It's their only chance. Any shelter from the sun, no matter how small, could save them. The wheels of the chair groan with every push, the movement slow and labored under the weight of the desert heat. Sophia barely reacts, her head drooping as she slips in and out of consciousness, but Elena refuses to stop. She keeps pushing, one step at a time, the sweat pouring down her face, her body burning with exhaustion. "Elena, come on, baby. Just a little farther." The burning sand feels like it's searing through her shoes with each step. Her legs ache, her muscles threatening to give out, but she won't stop. She can't stop. She's all Sophia has. It feels like hours before they reach the rock formation, the shade it provides offering a small relief. Elena pushes Sophia into the coolness of the shadow, her breathing heavy and labored. She leans against the rock, her back pressed against the jagged surface, trying to catch her breath, but her heart is still pounding. Sophia's breathing is shallow, too shallow. Elena feels the panic rising in her chest again, but she shoves it down. There's no time for panic. She pulls out her water bottle, uncapping it with trembling hands, and pours a small amount into Sophia's mouth. Sophia doesn't react at first, but after a moment, she swallows weakly. "Sophia, Mom. I'm so tired," Elena, holding back tears, her voice fierce. "I know, sweetheart. I know. But you're going to make it. I won't let you give up." Sophia's eyelids flutter, and she looks at her mother, her face pale but her eyes filled with a spark of recognition. She gives a small, barely perceptible nod, the smallest glimmer of hope in a world that's otherwise suffocating them. As Elena looks out at the endless expanse of sand, her resolve hardens. This desert may be vast, and it may be unforgiving, but she will not let it claim her daughter. Not while she still breathes. Not while there is a single ounce of strength left in her. She stands, wiping the sweat from her forehead, her hand gripping Sophia's chair with determination. Elena, to herself, quietly but with unwavering conviction, we're going to make it out of here, Sophia. We'll make it out. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving the desert in a chilling, dim twilight. The temperature has dropped slightly, but the weight of the day's events still hangs heavily in the air. In the shadow of the rock formation, Elena sits on the ground, her back against the stone. Sophia rests beside her, exhausted but sleeping, the faint rise and fall of her chest the only sign that she's still alive. Elena stares into the distance, her eyes hollow with exhaustion, but beneath the weariness, there is something else, something colder, something darker. The fire of rage is beginning to stir within her, a slow, simmering burn that will not be extinguished. She pulls out her phone from her pocket, the screen cracked from the fall earlier. She barely notices as she swipes the screen to unlock it, her mind too occupied with the thoughts swirling in her head. Inner monologue, Karen, you left us out here to die. Left my daughter. You betrayed me in the most horrific way possible. And now, I'm going to make you pay. Her fingers tremble as she pulls up the contact list. She scrolls through names, but none of them matter. Karen has already proven that she's willing to go to any lengths to get what she wants. No rules, no morals, just her own agenda. But now, the game has changed. Elena isn't just a mother trying to survive. She's a mother driven by vengeance, and she knows how to play the game better than Karen ever will. Elena, thinking, voice low but determined, I'll make sure the whole town knows what kind of person you really are. No one will trust you again. You think you've won, but you've only just opened the door to your destruction. Elena leans back, her head resting against the cool stone. The world feels distant, muffled. Her pulse is steady now, the adrenaline of earlier replaced with a cold clarity. She can't afford to be impulsive. This needs to be calculated, precise. Every move has to be perfect. She starts to think of the ways Karen can be exposed. What she knows, who she knows, where she is vulnerable. Her mind begins to work through the possibilities, compartmentalizing her thoughts into a list of actions. Inner monologue, Karen's always had the power of the HOA on her side. She's used it to control people, manipulate them. But she's also proud. She can't stand being questioned. If I can expose the way she's been using that power, make her see how much of a threat she really is, she'll crumble. I'll make her feel helpless. Make her regret ever stepping foot in this town. Her fingers begin to type on the screen, drafting a message, a series of notes for the steps she needs to take. The words come easier now, a plan forming in her mind. Inner monologue, calm but resolute, first, I'll gather everything I can. Any document, any email, anything that proves Karen has abused her position. Then, I'll take it to the people who've been too afraid to speak up. I'll bring them together, make them see that they're not alone. And finally, I'll take it to the press. Public shame is the one thing she won't be able to escape. Elena pauses, looking down at Sophia, her daughter still unconscious but safe, for now. The thought of the sweet, innocent girl being used as a pawn in someone else's game fills Elena with an overwhelming sense of rage. But this rage is different. It's not just fury, it's a plan, a methodical, quiet determination. Inner monologue, with conviction, Karen thinks she's untouchable. But she's wrong. She'll feel every ounce of the pain she caused. I'll make sure of it. Elena stands up slowly, brushing the dust off her clothes. She takes a deep breath, the air still thick with heat, but she's no longer bothered by it. She looks down at Sophia one last time before locking her phone, her mind racing with the steps ahead. Elena, this is just the beginning. With a final glance at the fading light of the desert, Elena knows that the road ahead will be dangerous, but she doesn't care. The revenge will be hers, and nothing, no one, will stop her. The sun has long set, casting shadows across the town as Elena walks through the quiet streets, her heart pounding in her chest. The weight of the plan she's been building for days is heavy, but it doesn't feel like enough. Not yet. She needs more. She needs justice. She can see Karen's house now, the lights still on, the silhouette of the woman in the window barely visible. It's almost as if Karen can feel the storm coming, the confrontation she's been avoiding for so long. Elena stands on the doorstep, her breath shallow but steady. She raises her fist and knocks sharply on the door. A long pause follows. Then, the sound of footsteps inside, slow and deliberate. The door creaks open. And there she is. Karen, standing in the doorway, her cold, calculating smile flickering as she sees Elena standing there. There's no warmth in her gaze, no sense of apology. Only pride. Karen, raising an eyebrow, almost smug, well. What's this? Come to beg for mercy? You must be desperate to show your face after everything that's happened. Elena doesn't flinch. She holds her ground, her gaze unwavering. Elena, no. I'm here to make you pay for what you did. You thought you could break me, Karen, but I'm not the one who's broken. Karen laughs softly, the sound cruel and dismissive. Karen, oh, Elena, please. You can't possibly think you've won. You're just one more angry woman trying to make sense of things that don't belong to you. You never understood. I've been playing this game for years, and you? You were never part of the plan. Elena, no, Karen. You never understood what real power is. It's not about controlling people. It's about standing for something greater. And today, I'm standing for my daughter, for the truth, for everything you've tried to take from us. The smile fades from Karen's face, and for the first time, she looks unsettled. There's a flicker of recognition in her eyes. But she recovers quickly, her mask of superiority slipping back into place. Karen, you're pathetic. Do you really think anyone will listen to you? The HOA runs this town. I've built everything from the ground up. And you, well, you're just a broken, bitter woman with a sad little story. You think people are going to believe you over me? Elena takes a step forward, her face inches from Karen's. The tension in the air is palpable, a raw, electric current sparking between them. Elena, you think this is about the HOA, about the house, about any of the things you've convinced yourself are important? It's not. This is about how you've destroyed lives, my life, my daughter's life, just because you could. You're a coward who hides behind rules and power. But I'm done being silent. Karen narrows her eyes, the facade of confidence starting to crack. Karen, you don't know anything about me. I did what I had to do. You don't get it. It's survival of the fittest. Always has been, always will be. You're just too weak to see it. The words hit Elena like a slap. But it only fuels her fire. She steps back and pulls out a stack of papers from her bag. She holds them out, letting them drop to the ground with a loud thud, the sound sharp in the silence of the night. Elena, these are the documents you didn't think I would find. Proof of your abuse of power, your manipulation of the community, your lies, your deceit. Everything. And I'm not the only one you've hurt. You've bullied people, ruined families, and for what? Your own ego? Karen stares at the papers, the color draining from her face. For the first time, she seems unsure of herself, the mask of control slipping further. But she quickly gathers herself, stepping back, a defensive edge creeping into her voice. Karen, you're making a mistake, Elena. You don't know what you're doing. You can't win against me. This town will never turn against me. You'll be the one who's left behind. But Elena doesn't move. She stands firm, her eyes locked on Karen's, unflinching. "Elena, I don't need the town to turn against you. I just need the truth to come out. People will see who you really are. And when they do, you'll have no place to hide." There's a long pause. The air feels thick, heavy with the weight of the confrontation. Finally, Karen steps back, crossing her arms defensively. "Karen, you think I'm afraid of you? You're nothing but a bitter, broken woman who has nothing left to lose. And you're wrong, Elena. I'm untouchable. I always have been." Elena tilts her head, a bitter smile forming on her lips. "Elena, not anymore." Karen's confident demeanor falters, and in that brief moment of vulnerability, Elena knows she's won. She watches Karen take a step back, her mind racing as she imagines the fallout of her actions, the community finally learning the truth, Karen's empire crumbling under the weight of her lies. Elena turns away, but not before giving Karen one last, steady look. Karen stands in the doorway, her face a mixture of fury and fear, unable to do anything but watch as Elena walks away, leaving her to face the consequences of her own choices. The sound of the door slamming shut behind her echoes in the night, but Elena doesn't look back. She's won. And in that victory, the silence of the desert feels just a little bit sweeter. The morning after the confrontation, the sun rises over the town, casting long shadows across the streets. The world seems quieter now, as if holding its breath after the storm that passed through. Elena stands at the window of her small home, looking out at the horizon, her face tired but resolute. The papers she had dropped at Karen's doorstep are now circulating throughout the town, spread across news desks, in the hands of people who have long suffered in silence. The truth has come to light, and with it, Karen's empire of manipulation and control has started to crumble. People are talking, and their voices are finally louder than the fear she instilled in them. But even as Elena watches the light spill over the rooftops, she feels a deep, unshakable ache in her chest. The victory feels hollow, not because it wasn't deserved, but because it came at a cost. She turns her gaze to Sophia, who sits on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, her fragile form leaning against the cushions. Elena smiles softly, walking over to her daughter and kneeling beside her. "Elena, how are you feeling, sweetheart?" Sophia looks up at her mother, her eyes still a little tired but filled with gratitude. Sophia, weakly smiling, "Better. I'm glad we're home." Elena gently brushes a strand of hair from Sophia's face, her heart swelling with love and sorrow. The road to this moment has been long and painful. The thought of everything they've been through weighs heavily on her, but in Sophia's eyes, there's a quiet strength that makes it all worth it. "Elena, you're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you again. I promise." The doorbell rings, pulling Elena from her thoughts. She stands up, brushing herself off as she walks toward the door. When she opens it, she's greeted by the sight of several of the neighbors, their faces a mixture of concern and something else, respect. They hold out envelopes and papers, some with handwritten notes, others with printed articles about Karen's wrongdoings. "We all read what you found, Elena. It's over. No one will listen to her anymore. We should have spoken up sooner, but we were afraid. Thank you for showing us what real strength looks like." Elena takes the papers from their hands, nodding silently, but her heart feels heavy again. She thanks them, but the gratitude feels like a distant echo. The truth has been exposed, Karen's power has shattered, but the damage done to Elena and her family is not so easily repaired. That evening, Elena sits outside with Sophia, the sky now a deep purple, dotted with stars. The air is cool, the breeze gentle. It feels peaceful, but the quiet is full of complexity. The world feels different now, but also the same. There's no going back to how it was before, but that doesn't mean they haven't gained something. Sophia, glancing up at her mom, "What happens now, Mom?" Elena turns to her daughter, taking her hand in her own. She looks at Sophia, really looks at her, and smiles. "Elena, now? Now we move forward. We rebuild. Together. There's a pause as they both watch the stars, the world spinning gently around them. The weight of everything they've been through lingers, but there's also a sense of relief in the air. They've survived. And somehow, despite everything, they've found a way to make it through. The camera lingers on the two of them, sitting side by side in the fading light, the desert now a distant memory. There's no need for words anymore. The silence speaks volumes. Elena knows the fight isn't over. The scars will always remain, both inside and out. But for now, they have each other. And that's enough.